days.
Transparency and with scrutiny as well as they continue to look into the police shooting of Jayland Walker. Over the weekend, authorities in the city of Akron released about 18 minutes worth of video each minute.
City officials in Akron, Ohio are releasing what they're calling extremely disturbing body camera video, showing the moment officers shot and killed 25-year-old Jayland Walker.
The video you're about to watch is heartbreaking and it's very tough to take in.
Authorities say early Monday, officers tried to pull Walker over for a traffic violation when they say a shot was fired out the car door.
21 shots fired. That vehicle just had a shot come out of its door.
A chase then happened. Minutes later, police say Walker slowed down, then ran away wearing a ski mask. Authorities say the officers tried to deploy tasers but missed. Walker continued running. Then they say he stopped and turned towards police, who then opened fire. Authorities have said they don't know yet how many shots the officers fired.
Based on the video, I anticipate that number to be high. A lot of rounds were fired.
AZ's first and foremost, shout out Akron, Ohio. We sorry for the loss. Our black men are dying and there's nothing that we can do about it. I'm taking my stance and just keep watching, y'all.
From the medical examiner showed Walker's body had more than 60 wounds.
It was absolutely excessive. The law requires to use force that is reasonable. You know, we've heard numbers as high as 95 shells on the ground.
Police say Walker was unarmed when he was shot and say this handgun and loaded magazine were later found on the driver's seat of the vehicle.
We want justice!
Walker's family has called for peace as protesters take to the streets demanding accountability.
This is also devastating to all of us in the family. Jayland was a very sweet young man.
The 8 officers who fired shots are on paid administrative leave.
My people, Daisies, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. So we're going to jump right into it. We got Jayland Walker, Akron, Ohio. This story just released like not even 24 hours ago. Akron police, boys in blue, have shot, killed, putting 95 plus rounds into this young man. Now the city is in an uproar. They're in an uproar. They don't know what to do, but it's going to go down. There needs to be some justification to see what's really going on and how is it happening. And the injustice has to stop. The killing has to stop. It has to stop now. And there's nothing that we can do for it. So we here. And let me know what y'all think. Was the police justified to put 95 shots in this 25-year-old man and he was unarmed though?